I am so ready to start decluttering again. It's been a little bit since I've done my declutter series here on my channel and we are picking it back up. Today we are starting with my bronzers. We're starting a little bit like easy, a little bit more casual. I'm also gonna add the face palette collection to this. We're gonna do a collection and declutter. I'm gonna show you everything I have. I'm gonna be like picking out the things that I still want to use and decluttering the things that I don't feel like are a good fit for my collection anymore. And I can't be more excited. I'm so ready to like get everything in order. I am just drowning in makeup. The bronzers are not too bad. So we're gonna start a little bit like chill. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we have all my bronzers and here we have all my face palettes. I don't think that the amounts I have in this category is too crazy. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot, but not a lot has happened here since the last declutter. Like a few things were added. Do have to say I used to have 3 bronzers. Now I have, I don't know. I don't even want to know. I have a lot. I'm gonna count them up at the end. Like I'm gonna show you the numbers. I like numbers. I'm gonna show you the numbers. But yeah, it's not too bad. I think we're just gonna start with the bronzers, and I'm gonna just show you them one by one because my camera sometimes doesn't want to focus if I show you multiple. So we're gonna do this. Better be safe than sorry. Alright, we're gonna start out with the... By the way, I can zoom in a little bit. Alright, we're gonna start out with the Kiko Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour. This is one that I've had for some time now, I feel. Maybe almost 2 years. This is the one in 200. This is a great shade. I've used it a lot. It is one of my favorite cream bronzers in my collection. And I feel like it will stay that way probably because it's so good. I really like it. So yeah, definitely gonna be keeping this one. Then one I think I can finally declutter. I've had this in my hands, debating if I should declutter it a lot of times. So this is the Kiko Milano Precious Rituals Long Lasting Vegan Bronzer in 02 Sienna. The packaging is really nice but a little bit bulky. I feel like this bronzer, like there's nothing wrong with it, but this collection for some reason was only available for like a few weeks in the Netherlands at least. I don't know what happened in other countries. But I feel like maybe there was a claim, like a copyright claim, because I don't know. We also have a store which is called Rituals, and for some reason I just feel like maybe it could be having something to do with it. I haven't heard anything about it, which is my feeling. But this is a nice bronzer, but I have so many Kiko Milano bronzers and this hasn't been available for a long time. And I just don't really grab it because it's so bulky. Now that I'm holding it, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so cute, shouldn't I keep it? But I never reach for this. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I never reach for it. It's just the packaging is really cool, but it's not really super practical. I think I'm gonna let go of this one. Yeah, I'm gonna declutter it. Alright, then another one from Kiko Milano that I really like. It's really bright on camera, sorry, it's a light yellow packaging. This is the Blossoming Beauty Floral Bronzer in 02 Bright Sienna. I really like this one. It's a great shade. It's a really nice packaging. It's a really nice formula. I feel like I would much rather reach for this one than the one from the Rituals collection. So I'm going to be keeping this one. Then we have the Catrice Matte Face and Body Bronzer. This is from one of their limited editions. It's very big, almost doesn't fit on the screen. This is from the Tropic Exotic collection and this is in Exotic Glow. This is a really nice one. I really like this one. It is bigger than my face almost. Like, this is a huge bronzer. It wasn't really necessary for me, but the formula is really nice. So I'm actually going to be keeping this one around. Like, it's a really nice kind of cool tone shade. For now, I think I can keep it. Then another Catrice. This is the Holiday Skin Bronze and Glow palette. I tried it, I reviewed it, but since then I haven't really reached for it. I'm gonna be keeping it around because I believe it's still in their collection. I do a lot of videos on Essence and Catrice, so I think I'm gonna be keeping it, but I should probably like use this again. I should probably focus on this a little bit more, but hopefully I can do that after these declutters, like focus on some things again. This is the Essence Baby Got Bronze Bronzer Stick. I really like this one. It's blendable, it's a nice shade, it's really easy to use. It's tiny, so easy to travel with. How many grams of product are in here? This is 10 cinnamon spice, 5.5 grams of product. I think that's fine. This is really affordable. Keeping it. Then the SheGlam. This is the stick bronzer in soft tan. This is very subtle. Like, this is very light. In the winter, this is fine for me. I like it in the winter. When I first tried it, it didn't show up, but I still had a little bit of a tan. I feel like this is gonna be one that I can reach for under specific circumstances. But I feel like that's the case with almost all my bronzers, because I do, like, my skin tone does change quite a lot between like winter and summer. So this one is a good like winter shade. Then we have the Milani one. I recently did a new makeup updates where I talked about this one. This is not my favorite. I don't know what it is about it. I have the one in Hey Honey. This is a Cheek Kiss cream bronzer. Whenever I use it, I just don't feel like it looks amazing on me. Maybe it's the color, but the color looks fine. Looking at it like this, it looks like it should be my color. But whenever I apply it, I just don't love it. I guess the blend or something doesn't really like, it doesn't really vibe with me. But I'm gonna keep it for now because I just got it and I want to give it another chance in the summer. I feel like it changes a lot, so I'm gonna like keep it, and then maybe after the summer, if I've decided that I still don't like it, I'll probably declutter it. Then we have the Revolution bronzer. This is the Mega Bronzer in One Cool. I really like the shade, I really like the formula. It's really beautiful on the skin. It is really, it's not like that really cool toned bronzer that you sometimes see that's kind of ashy. It's really like if you are cool toned, and this is probably the shade you kind of get, like the undertone, the shade you kind of get if you start getting a little more tan. At least for me, this really looks like my tan. So I really like this one. I'm gonna keep it around. It's pretty new in my collection. It's a good bronzer. Then one of my favorite glowy bronzers. This is the Kiko Milano Happy B-Day Bellezza Big Bronzer in 02 Sienna. It is a baked, very glowy bronzer and it's stunning. It's gorgeous. I love this shade. It's very nice for the summer, very glowy. I'm going to be keeping it. Then another Kiko Milano bronzer. This is from the Lost in Amalfi collection. This is the bronzer and highlighter duo in 02 Sun Kissed. It's a little deep for me. Definitely a summer bronzer. I feel like I have to use this again in the summer, really see how I feel. Because it does seem a little bit more golden than what I usually go for. And it's been a while since I've actually used it. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one more chance this summer. And then we'll see. I'm probably gonna do another declutter of bronzer after the summer. Alright, and then we have the Flower Heatwave Luminous Bronzer. And I hate the packaging of this. It's already like, it already broke like kind of after one use. Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know what's happening with this. I like the formula of this. I like the look of the skin, but it pulls very warm on me and I just don't like the way that looks. Because it looks so nice and creamy on the skin, I have kept it around, but I feel like it's time to let go. I don't reach for this. It's just too warm and I just want to be a little bit more specific with the bronzer colors that I use, because I feel like it changes a lot of my look. I just want it to look a little bit more natural and this just doesn't really work for me. So this is gonna go with pain in my heart. I wish the more cool toned version of this was available to me, but I don't believe it is. Then one of my favorite bronzers in my collection. This is the Create Your Balance Color Boost Face Bronzer in 01 Sienna from Kiko Milano. This is a beautiful cool tone shade. Very easy to blend, very skin-like finish. It just looks so good. I've used this a lot and I really like it. Then we have another really glowy bronzer by Kiko Milano. This is a Festival Glow Baked Bronzer in 02 Burnt Sienna. This is very glowy, very baked. It has kind of like a cool tone, but it has a golden glow. I am definitely gonna be using this in the summer, keeping it. Then one that I'm kind of unsure about if I should keep it. This is the Catrice and Winnie the Pooh collection Soft Glow Bronzer. This was fine to me, but I don't know if it's like super special. So this is in 010, I think it's called Love. I think I'm gonna be keeping this. I thought I'd probably declutter it, but I feel like it's a nice color. It could still work. I want to give it another shot. I know this is not a very ruthless declutter, but it's not even what I was expecting. I mean, my bronzers, in my opinion, are not really like the problem area in my collection. So this is the Colourpop Matte Bronzer in Avila Beach. I actually quite like this one, but I don't really reach for it, but I have to again. Because it's a nice color. And I do like the way this looks on the skin. This one is a little lighter, and I'm still like, I don't have any tan right now. I feel like now would be a good time to use this again. I've also been kind of doing sort of shop my stash. Like I've had some baskets on my vanity with things that I want to focus on more. And now that I'm seeing everything again, like holding everything in my hands, opening it up, I feel like there are a few things that I want to put in those baskets to really like use them again. Alright, that was the first basket. The second basket, I actually applied this one today because I wanted to make sure if I wanted to keep it or not. So this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in light medium. It's a bit hard to open. But this one, I was a bit unsure if I wanted to keep it. I haven't really used it a lot lately, but I used it today and it looked really nice. I really like the shade. It's really easy to blend. It looks very natural. I am gonna be keeping this actually. I think this is quite nice. Then the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in Bright Side. This one, I actually complained about it a little bit, but in the end it was all my fault. I said that I didn't think that the packaging closed well enough, but it was my fault. I didn't press down hard enough. This is a really nice kind of like neutral cool toned, not super cool toned, it's not ashy kind of bronzer stick. It's really blendable, it's really easy to use. I've actually been using it quite a bit and I've actually kind of been getting more and more understanding of the hype. Like when I first got it, I thought well, I had a Kiko Milano and I still think that the level of blendability and the look on the skin is basically the same as the Kiko Milano. I would say you don't have to spend this money on this bronzer stick. Like the Kiko Milano is just as good and it's like 10 euros. So I still think it's not necessary, but I get the hype. Like not everybody is using that Kiko Milano contour stick. And then I can understand that you really like this one. It's a good one, for sure. I just happen to have a alternative, personally. Alright, let's see if there's anything I can declutter. I think I can declutter this one. So this is the SheGlam Skin Focus High Coverage Powder Foundation in Wheat. I bought into a video by Laura Lee where she was using this as a bronzer. And I thought, oh, that looks nice. And I love bronzers that have a little bit of coverage because I don't really use foundation. I like my skin products like my bronzer and my blush to have a little bit of a perfecting quality to them. So this could be a really nice bronzer for me. This is very yellow and the other one that I bought was also very yellow. I don't feel like there was any color in the range that was really for me with my neutral cool undertone. So I am gonna declutter this. I'm gonna accept that this wasn't for me, that I probably should just stick to the actual bronzers like this color. If you are warm, this will probably work for you as a bronzer, but I'm not warm enough for this. Alright, then we have some NARS, and I actually have two. Hello. Always good to see your face in a product. Yeah. Okay, this is the one in Laguna 01. And this is the light one? Or is this a light one? Yeah, this is Laguna, just like, this is the Laguna from the first collection. Like the first two cream bronzers that they came out with, I was like sold. I thought it looked so good. I don't know what it was, but I was obsessed. I got this one and then I also got the lighter one because this one is a bit deep for me in winter, even though I love the undertone of this and I can still blend it out. It's not unusable. Like it looks a little dark, but it's fine. I think this is just a little bit more of my tone in the winter. Like it just feels a little bit more like closer to what they actually look like. It looks a little bit more natural, but I love them both in both situations. At some point I was kind of like, I want to declutter this Laguna, the original one, because I was just a bit scared of it. When I looked at it, I got scared, but I didn't have to. But because after I actually started using it, I realized that it was super easy to blend. But then I loved it so much that I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab the light one as well. So these are faves, and I have to like use this one again. It's a really good shade for now, for this moment. Alright, one of my favorites in my collection. I've had this for a bit. This is the Nabla Skin Bronzing in Ambra. This is such a good shade. I really love the effect of this on the skin. It's just such a good baked gelée bronzer. Just glowy but not glittery. It's just very natural. Love the color keeping. Then we have the Holiday Skin Luminous Bronzer with Macadamia Oil by Catrice. This is in 010 Summer in the City. This one, this is not glowy. This is just a matte, like natural finish, kind of like matte-esque bronzer. This is really good. It works really well, it blends really well. I really like the look of this on the skin. The undertone of this bronzer is really nice. I used to have the deeper one, but it was a little bit deep on me even if I had a tan in the summer. So I'm just gonna stick to this one, and I'm gonna be keeping this one. This is really nice. Alright, the Summer Heat Cream Bronzer by BH Cosmetics. I kept this the last round because I really like the creamy, juicy, blendable formula of this, but it's just too warm. It pulls very yellow on my skin, and I just don't feel like that anymore. And I like it because the formula is similar to the Makeup Revolution one, but I have the Makeup Revolution one, so I'm gonna like let go of this one. Like, this Makeup Revolution one is basically my favorite bronzer in my collection. It's either this one or the Kiko Milano Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour. Like, both of them are so good, but they have kind of like a slightly different effect to them. This one has a little bit more coverage. It's a little bit more juicy, creamy, and the Sculpting Touch is just very blendable and very natural and just very easy to use. This has just a little bit more pigment, so I have to be a little bit more aware of what I do when I use this one, but still so good. I love the effect on the skin. Then we have the Kiko Milano Holiday Premiere Enchanting Duo Bronzer. This is in 02 Warm Honey. This one is very hard to open. I don't want to ruin my nails. So this is kind of like a combination of a more warm and a more cool bronzer in here. It's a nice bronzer. It smells a very perfumey though, very perfumey. I think I'm gonna keep this for a little bit, but I can see myself decluttering this one because I do have other Kiko Milano ones that I like more than this one. It's not that the formula is bad, but the packaging just annoys me a little bit. I want to be able to open packaging relatively quickly, but I'm gonna keep it for a little bit longer. Alright, then one I can declutter. So this is the Moira Sculpt and Glow Duo Stick in 200. Let's beach it up. And while there's nothing wrong with this formula, this is just way too yellow for me. This is definitely very like yellowy golden bronzy, and it's just, it doesn't look good on me. I'm done with that, so we're gonna declutter this one. Then I have two of the Kiko Milano Charming Escape Silky Bronzer. I have the shade 01 and I have the shade 02. This is like honey and this is like sienna. I like them both. I like them both for different times of year. This is more my summer shade. This is kind of like my now shade, like winter, spring. Gonna be keeping these. I really like the formula and I really like the packaging. And not even just the flowers, because I love flowers and everything, but also just how compact it is and it's easy to open. We have the SheGlam Golden Sun Sun Sculpt Liquid Contour. This is really nice. It's such a good shade. It's so easy to use. It blends so good. I feel like this is maybe the best shade of bronzer I've ever come across for my skin tone. It's just the right tone. I might buy a slightly deeper one for the summer because I've just been reaching for this over and over again. It's just been in my vanity and I just keep using it. It's just so easy. Also, when you've already kind of done your cheeks and you want to add a little bit, you're still missing a little bit of bronzer, this still works, and it works with so many different like techniques. And then we have the Kiko Milano The Little Mermaid bronzer and highlighter duo stick. The bronzer is on one side. This is a really nice shade of bronzer, really easy to use. And then we have the highlighter on the other side. I haven't used this in a bit. I feel like I have to definitely get back into this, so I'm gonna be keeping this. Alright, the SheGlam Sunside Bronzer. This is in Morning Beam. This is very light. This is very, very light. I feel like at this point, it's kind of like the same shade as my skin. I still have to keep this around. How similar is this one to the Holiday Skin? Yeah, the Holiday Skin is a very light bronzer as well. Do I feel like I need to declutter this? No, I don't feel like it. And if I don't feel like it, I'm not gonna declutter it. I spend my own money on these bronzers. I didn't get any of these in PR. Alright, so this is the Revolution Pro Goddess Glow Cream Contour and Bronze. This is a really nice shade and it works really well. I can't open it right now for some reason. Hello. It's like this poofy style applicator. It's really nice cool tone shade. And it was on. Let's not do that. I'm gonna keep it. And then we have the Catrice Sun Melted Cream Bronzer. This is a really nice cream bronzer. Just if you haven't used it for a while, it kind of gets this dried out like layer on the top. But if you kind of remove that, you're going to be fine. You can use it again. It's a little strange, but it still works. And I really like the look of this on the skin and just the undertone of that. It's nice. Then we have the Kiko Milano Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick in 203. This is a little bit more of a bronzy shade for me. The other one is more kind of like ashy, very natural. This is a little bit more bronzy, a little bit more out there. I've used it a little bit less, but I just got it kind of like in the fall, I believe, or maybe even in like December. I feel like this is gonna be a nice one for the summer. Then we have the Kiko Milano Beauty World 2-in-1 Cushion Bronzer and Contour. And this is a very lightly pigmented, poofy style bronzer. But because of that, it's really easy to use. It's like so easy to blend. You just have to apply quite a bit. I'm still going to keep it. I feel like this still has a place in my collection. And then the last one is the Be Perfect Bronzer, the cream bronzer by Be Perfect. I'm gonna keep this. Like, I like the shade, I like the formula. I feel like I can still get some use out of this. This is in the shade Sand. This is a nice one. Okay, so those were all the bronzers. Let's reorganize this a little bit. Alright, this is what we are keeping. I'm gonna count up what I still have. 32 bronzers. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best amount of bronzers. I do love bronzers a lot, and I do feel like I reach for quite a bit of this a lot. But I also feel like a few could be decluttered depending on if I'm gonna use them in the coming few months. I'm quite happy with this, but I feel like if I'm gonna acquire a lot more bronzer, I'm gonna have to like be a little bit more picky. And then here we have the declutters. We have 5 bronzers I'm decluttering, mostly because the tone of them doesn't work for me. Like, these are all too yellow and this just, I never reach for. It's time to go. So 32 kept and 5 decluttered. It's not a crazy amount. Now let's move on to some face palettes. I am gonna go through this. I'm not gonna be promising anything. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't have very strong feelings, a very strong need to declutter. Alright, I have a lot of Lunar Beauty face palettes. I love them a lot. This is the Nude Prism blush. I actually reach for this quite a bit. Like, this is a really good blush palette, especially if you like kind of like softer, lighter shades. But we also have some pops here. I have to be honest, I don't really reach for the pops, but these I really like. Then we have the Laura Lee Blush Aesthetic Palette. This is not my favorite. I feel like the choices in here are sometimes a little odd. I feel like this is very kind of like grayish purple. This is very dark for me. This is too orange. I can see myself decluttering this sometime in the future, but it's still pretty new to me. And I do feel like some of these shades look a little bit different on the cheeks than they do in the pan. So I feel like I have to get into this. If I do, we'll see if I do, but I feel like I have to get into it a little bit more before I declutter it. So I'm gonna keep it for now, but I have to be honest, I don't love this a lot in the end. Then the Full Fancy Blush Palette. I love this one. This is such a good shade. I haven't used it in a bit. I have to get back to this. This is so good. I love the shades as well. I love the highlighters. They're a little deep for me right now. It's a little too like deep in the base, but I'm gonna be using those over the summer again if I get a little bit of a tan again. And then we have the original Moon Prism Blush Palette. I love this one. I love the kind of like pinky peachy tones over here, but these are also like pretty easy to use. Like Gravity, I probably reach for the least, but all these tones are so good. I love the packaging of this one as well. I got this in a, I believe I got this in the mystery box. Like that was my first time trying Little Beauty, and this really got me into the blush palettes. Right, then some Catrice. We have the Fall in Colors Baked Bronzing and Highlighting Palette. I forget to use this, but I love these highlighters. Those are so good, so I have to get back into that. But sometimes I just kind of forget about my face palettes. Then we have the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton, like the first round face palette. I have to get back into this, but I just always feel like this highlighter is a little too pigmented in the base. Like it's a little deep and it's very creamy. Then this one is quite pigmented, like the pink one. This one I do like. I'm probably gonna like shop my stash a little bit after these declutters and just pick some things that I feel like I should use a little more. And I think this might be one of the ones I'm gonna pick. And then we have the Catrice Caviar Gouge face palette. I feel like I like this, but I don't really reach for it anymore. I'd have to try it before I can declutter it. I have to give it another shot. Alright, the Catrice and the Jungle Book face palette. I actually really like the highlighters in this. I just was a little confused about this palette. This bronzer is also very nice. This bronzer is way too deep for me. I can actually see myself decluttering this, but I kind of want to give it one more go. The problem with this face palette basket is that I haven't really looked inside for a bit. I do like these highlighters. I do like this bronzer. I do really like the packaging. Like this was one of my favorite packagings from the Catrice Disney collection that they've done. I'm gonna keep it because I don't feel like I have to declutter it, and I want to give it another go. Then we have the Catrice Bronze Way to Costa Rica. This bronzer is way too deep and way too golden for me. This is fine. These baked highlighters are nice, but I feel like I like the highlighters in this one better, and I also like this packaging better. Like these are really good shades for me. They did make the pens a lot smaller for the Fall in Colors, but I don't need that much. I feel like these shades are similar enough. I'm gonna get rid of the Bronze Way to Costa Rica. Who knew? I didn't know. I'm surprising myself. Alright, then we have the Unearthly Cosmetics Surrender Glowing Blush Palette. These shades are very kind of like deep and kind of hard for me to use. I just don't feel like they fit my skin tone. I think I'm gonna declutter this as well. I think it is time. I feel like these are just not my shades. I was thinking maybe I should just get used to the formula, what is going on here, but looking at it now, I understand. Like this is too deep and too bright for me. These were too pigmented. This is too warm for me anyway, but I feel like someone else could use this and like this a lot more, so I'm gonna declutter it as well. Wow. Who am I? Okay, one of my absolute favorite face palettes at the moment is the Dreamer Highlight Palette. It is very compact, it's very cute. And then I love all of these three shades. They all work so well on me, and they are just such a beautiful, glowy, skin-like, but still impactful highlight formula. I love this highlight formula. This is so good, and I really actually reach for this face palette. So definitely a keep. Then we have the Kiko Milano Contour Obsession Contour and Highlight Face Palette. I love this one. Beautiful shades. Love the highlighter in here. Love the two bronzers. Just a slight variation in undertone I can appreciate, but both of them are cool toned. I've used this so much. It's so nice, this formula. It's so creamy, so skin-like. It blends like a dream. I'm going to be keeping that. This is one that I personally didn't like. This is the Magic Shaper Face Cream Palette. This is just too deep for me. This is not meant for my skin tone. The highlighters didn't love. The blushes, I don't know, didn't blend well. The bronzer just way too deep for me. It all just looked very weird on my skin, kind of like sunk into the pores. It looked weird and it didn't apply in a nice way. So do I still want to give this a shot, or is just gonna go straight into the worst of 2024 basket? I think I'm gonna declutter this because I don't have hope. I don't have any hope. But I'm gonna keep it around because it's gonna be the worst of 2024. So I am gonna like use it one more time during the summer when I'm really tan, and then I'm gonna like make my final decision if this is gonna be in the worst of 2024. But I don't feel like I need this in my life. Like, this wasn't good for me. Okay, then we have the Kiko Milano Irresistible Total Look Face Powder Palette. I don't even know if this is still available. Sometimes I'm a little confused about what is actually like limited edition and what is not with Kiko Milano, because this was not a part of a collection. This just appeared one day in two different colorways. This is a really nice palette. Really nice formula. It's the same formula as the Contour Obsession one, but we also have blushes here. I should use this more. This is a nice one. But I haven't reached for it that much. I feel like the bronze one is just a little bit more like simple for me. And I like simple sometimes with my makeup. Like, not the look of it, but the use of it. And this is the last one. This is the Kiko Milano Beauty Roar Flawless Look Face Palette in 01 Beauty Statement. This bronzer is too warm for me. It's a bit more of a terracotta tone. The blush I didn't love. The highlighter is really nice. And it is a very compact palette. Am I gonna keep it just for the highlighter for just a little bit longer? Yeah, I think so. I think I have to use this highlighter one more time to see if it's worth it, because it's so compact. I don't really mind having this in my collection. Okay, those were all the face palettes. I actually decluttered 3. Let me show you what I still have. Okay, so the Blush Aesthetic palette doesn't fit aesthetically in my basket over here, so we're just gonna accept that for now. I'm gonna fix that later. Alright. Let me count up what I still own. I decluttered 3. So I have 12 face palettes. They're not all gonna stay in this basket because some of them I keep with the blushes, but I just wanted to keep it a little bit like logical for the videos. So this is what I'm gonna keep. This is what I'm decluttering, the 3 of these. I'm very happy with my decisions in the end. And yeah, that's actually gonna be everything. That's gonna be the declutter of my bronzers and face palettes. I'm probably gonna show you a little clip of what it's looking like in the drawer right now, how nice and neat it is. It's probably, I don't know how long that's gonna stay the case because summer is coming and I love bronzers, so maybe I'll acquire a little more. But yeah, I had fun. I'm really happy with the result. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.